working fine, but not sure how it would work on YouTube. It says it has live stream. Okay, yeah, there it is. Okay, hopefully it is live on both Twitch and YouTube. Yeah, so let's, I think, get started away. Let's get started right away. So what I'm trying to do in this stream, it's just a test stream, but let's do something at least meaningful in the first stream. So I had an idea which I've had some research on it, and I've came up with this idea of creating uh, okay, don't start lagging now. It will lag now. Okay, so let me create some things for you. So let's say I have, why can't I write a static site generator. So here the examples are like Hugo, we have Jekyll, and what I can't remember any of them now. We have what was that JavaScript thing called? Let's search for that. So it is called Jamstack site. Oh yeah, it was there. So here there are some static site generators which are like Next.js, Hugo, Gatsby. Yeah, Gatsby was the one which is really popular in the JavaScript community. Hugo is famous in Go community. Jekyll for Ruby, and I think for Python we have what was it for Python? I think I use Markata from William Walker, which is not quite famous, but yeah, it is a really pluggable static site generator. For Python, I think that was called, I can't quite remember the name. Yeah, it was Pelican, I think. Yeah, so these are like the static site generators which are quite famous, and what they essentially do is they create so let's start with the flow of it. So initially we have, what we do is we want to, so let's start from where what we want, right? Like what they do is they just serve is it yeah, so they just serve static sites, or you can say web pages. So this is the outcome or output of static site generators, which is the goal for them to generate. But what comes in between is the essence. So as a human we want to write a, like a post, let's say a post or any form of content in, let's say, Markdown. And if you don't know Markdown, like Markdown is just a format of writing text. It just has headings, image links, and list, sublist, quotes, and so on. I think you would be familiar with Markdown. I won't go into the details of this, but it is a quite famous, well-known and well established writing format for any post or documentations. So Markdown is what we write in. It is really comfortable to write, and there are editors which support this as well. So Markdown is the input for static site generators. There are a bunch of other things as well, but the primary input for a static site generator is usually Markdown. And now what we do is we So let's say there is a post. So let's not go into deep details of the markdown post. Let's understand the whole picture and then go deeper into each route. So what we have, once we have the markdown content, what we do is we have some other component here called config, or what we can call it as. Just a second, it is not responding. I think I'll just close a few more things. Yeah, okay. So we have something called as config or configuration, which will be like some key value pairs or any config, like the name of the site, the description, uh, what are what is the author's name, what are the social links for the authors, and where should the static site generator look for the markdown files, what is the static files, like the images, where the images will go, and those kinds of configurations. So this is also like a input for uh, SSG or static site generators. So once we have these two things, what we need is a static site generator that will be uh, any of the things that any of the tools that we saw in the Jamstack site. One of them is Hugo, Jekyll, and so on. So once we have that, uh, once you have these two things, what the static site generators do in the essence is, let's say it first tries to read the configuration, and from there it usually gets the default location where to look for the markdown files. So markdown files will usually reside on some file system, right? Like there should be in the post directory or in the post slash blog directory, so on. So once the static site generator finds that, so okay, let's also get a little, let's zoom a little out as well. So static site generator is nothing but a script, okay? Like it's just a script that we run, and uh, we usually feed it with a configuration file, and it does something and it outputs the static file. So let's say this is a program that runs, this is the static site generator program, and what we do is, so let's so this will first try to look for configuration files. So let me order this correctly. So we have some configuration and we have some markdown files here. So first it looks for where the markdown files reside. So once we have that information, what the static site generator does is it tries to load in all the markdown files, and once those markdown files are loaded in, we can generate some content from those markdown files. So let's say we got the markdown content, and now we need other things as well. So here we will need to add one more component, which also is a sub component of configuration, but it has its own kind of component to it, which I'll call it uh, let's call it templates or layouts, or you can also call it as themes. So these are the things which we'll also need, because this is a markdown format and the output is in HTML format. So what we would need is, we would need some form of template to render these generated markdown content into. So this serve as a template, right? Actually the name suggests that it serves as a template to sort of get this into this. Okay, so this error is really bothering me now. So this is, let's say, a SSG, not script, a program that first renders out the markdown content. We don't directly do that, we do it via the SSG program. So what we do is we first load the configuration, then the SSG program knows where to look for the markdown files, then it loads the templates first. The templates are found, and then it injects those, it converts first the markdown into HTML, and then the HTML is injected into the template, and that's how we generate the static site pages. So this is the flow for static site generators. Like this is this you would already know, but I just wanted to make myself clear about what we are doing here. What I wanted to do here is uh, I wanted to add some form of dynamic uh, posts here. So uh, here it is very static, right? Like you just have content, you just dump it out into uh, markdown file. But let's say I don't have all the tools to have the static generator running, right? Like I need to have my system ready for that static generator to at least build and run those, convert that markdown files into static files. So what I'm saying is, like, I need to have some let's say a web app that actually serves as an editor to kind of add markdown files into my repo or into the place where I am hosting this my website, and I need to kind of edit those markdown files, like not edit but just add markdown files, and static generator will automatically pull that as a markdown file. It won't look a bit clear, but let me elaborate on what I'm trying to do here first. So let's say I have a database. Yeah, I'm just trying to add a database into static generators. I don't know if that would look good. Okay, let's just add this at the top, because this was the conversation starting point. And yeah, so what I'm trying to add here is a database, but not database directly to the static site generator, but as a I would add another layer of workflow in order to store my uh, you know markdown or markup. This is also called as markup, by the way, not just markdown. Markup will be the entire thing that we have for that. So once we have the understanding of static site generators, let's start into the database. What I want to do is wait, why is this okay, let's bring this down a little. Hold on, this is okay. Don't mind if there's some lag here. This is what I hate when I'm in a flow. Okay, perfect. So so let's say I have a database here somewhere in the cloud, not in my static site generator program, but in the cloud. And so let's say this markdown files right? This markdown files live somewhere in the this markdown files live somewhere in the file systems, right? So this lives somewhere in the file system, and let's say I have hosted this markdown file in a version control system, that is GitHub. And what that brings power to this is, with the help of GitHub workflows or GitHub actions, I can kind of run a cron job or some kind of event when that happens, or let's say periodically I look for the database changes. If if there was something inserted in the past 1 day or 1 hour, 1 week, anything, anytime that could be favorable for that specific requirement. And what this workflow will do is, it will try to add that post into the markdown file system, right? We will store that markdown post into the database, and then the GitHub action will pull that record and store it as a markdown file. So if that was not clear, let me add it over here. So let's say this is the static site pages that I render the things on, and I also have one let's say a route or a page that will act as a editor, or not as editor, but that will basically add add post, right? What this will do is, it will what this will be protected, of course, right? Because this will need database access. Hold on, guys, this is very weird. Okay, so this page needs to access the database because we are adding post. So this will be a protected page, or I would say authentication will be required here. Not authentication, but authorization will be also required. So auth N and Z, authentication and authorization. This is a short form I use if someone gets confused. So this is the page that will be rendered from SSG only, but it will be protected in a way that we access the database. So when the request comes in, we will store it into the database, and this, let's say, will have a posts table, and it will store it over there, and this will be pulled by the file system. We can call it GitHub actions. Let's not make two short forms here. GitHub actions, it's not a GitHub action, but it's just a cron job to fetch the posts regularly, and once that is fetched, this will create the markdown entry for that. So this is what I am thinking about doing. I don't know if this is overkill for a sidecar generator, but yeah, it looks a little bit complete, because to add a post I need to head to my system and create a markdown file and then push it to GitHub, and then it will generate the static site generator. This is a really good flow, but it could be improved as well. So this is what I think of this project, which I already have created with Turso, but this is, I've not completed it, but it was just a trial for if that could be if that could really be done. I've not touched on the actual parts. I just created a quick dirty script for that, so that was not the complete flow, but I want to create this as a complete project. So just give me a moment. I need to check if I am still live. Okay, it seems the YouTube is still live. Not sure about the Twitch, but yeah, let's continue with uh, not directly jumping into the code, but let's say what can we be doing next. So let's clear out the SSG part, because that is, well, that could be like, we don't want to reinvent the wheel for SSG, right? Because we never have that I want to create a static site generator. Like, I want to get a feel of how that actually works. I have created a few static site generators and I know the drill, but it's really a bit of a decision to be made, because I am not sure to reinvent the wheel or create my own static site generator for this. And that should not be too complicated. Yeah, I think I will create a static site generator. This time it will be a uh, bit more like professional, not professional, but uh, following good code conventions and following a structure, and it should also be pluggable. To note, I will be doing this um, in Golang, as I've been creating a lot of projects from Golang. I know I've also written this in Python, so I think I have that up and running here. So this should hopefully be in Python. Yeah, I named this as Python. It was like a Python based SSL generator. There were a lot of things I needed to do. It went to the project graveyard that we have, right? Every project that gets created eventually moves to the graveyard. So this was flow. Okay, so what I did basically was to load the config, to search for that pages file, like where the actual markdown posts will reside, and also the output there, so where to spit out, so where the static site generator will spit out the output files, the markups for that. And then we sort of the feed types we have, like the default feed, we iterate over each pages and load that into that. So load pages was the major function that I wrote, I think, here. So yeah, let's not go deeper into this. So this was that created from Python a while back, and now I want to create this in Golang to understand more about static site generators, because like people would say that there is nothing more to SSDs, but I think people will need more of these tools, because people are going to create content more and more as the days pass, with the AI booming up again. So I think content creation will be like in the rise in the future. So I want to create SSD to help them create effortlessly. That doesn't mean you can create the content with AI. You need to write your own stuff out. So shenanigans. Okay. This was a test. I'm not sure if I want to continue this today. Let's see how much time did we take it up. Do we have the times? Okay, half an hour. Was this half an hour? Okay. Okay, so let's not code it right away. I want to clear out a few things. So what we will be using here is LibSQL, which is SQLite fork powered by Turso. Not sponsored, but yeah, this is a really a good database that I've been playing around with, and this really fits this project really well, because let's imagine this as not just a single person trying to make the blog, but let's say it is a multi-author blog, if that's a word. So what there could be having is, so LibSQL is like, you can have embedded replicas, which is a really a flagship feature for LibSQL. Uh, so embedded replicas allow like to have local copies of the database, the primary database that will be on the cloud, on the local system as well. So this through GitHub Actions, we can create a Golang script, not just Golang but any script that will interact with the Turso LibSQL database. Create a copy of this file, and yeah, we can interact with the database more faster than connecting it on the cloud. So there will be a little less delay in generating the posts. That is a far-fetched idea, but it could be done, right? Like if if you want to create this on scale, I think this would be really a good approach to have. So the database will be LibSQL, so normal SQL things, right? So yeah, I think let's start with the implementation, because there's nothing much I have at the moment. I think I'll go ahead and explain as required in the upcoming streams as well, but let's not uh, dive too much into this. So I'll create a project. So md is just make a directory and go into that directory, just a alias that I've created. So I want to create a static site generator with yeah, let's just name it SSD for now, and let's open Zellige. Zellige is like a Tmux alternative. If you are familiar with terminal multiplexers, this is one written written in Go, written in Rust. I think this font size is correct, or I needed to zoom in a little bit. Okay, I am not. Okay, I know no one will comment here, but just checking just in case I am lucky. So yeah, I think this is visible. And do I make it full screen or not? And that looks good. So let's start here. So this will be a Go project, of course. So this is my username, and let's call it naming things and developers. I don't know. So that is created. Let's go right into it. So this is like one of the what we call not methodologies, but uh, a convention, or not a convention really, but a practice to follow in Golang, that you keep all the start with the single file, and then if you really need to break up things into multiple packages, then only you break out things, not do the other way around, that is start with multiple files and folders and combine it into a single package. So I think I will follow that route to include everything in a single file, sorry. So I have Codium enabled. I don't want to have that. So this is the bad habit of having AI. Okay, why I am doing that? Okay, so let's not write code, just include the pseudocode for what we want to do here. Okay, so what we want to do is first load the config. If it exists, then after the config we have, like the config will be a simple key value pair, right? Like key value pairs for the for the study set generator to actually understand what the where the posts are, what the site is about, the metadata about the actual blog as well. So that is the config which is loaded, and based on that there will be few parameters that we will use. But this next step, I think that is actually a step which will be to load the markdown, and then once we have loaded the markdown, we also need to load the templates, because like not loading the templates but rendering the markdown, not render markdown templates. Like it's not rendering the markdown, but it is just converting the markdown into HTML and then embedding the HTML into templates. But yeah, I think this reads well, so I'll put it that way. And then once we have all the posts created for the site, we also need to create feeds. And now feeds is a little like very specific things to the study generators and how you want to generate it, because feeds are like, let's say you have a primary feed and also you have some sort of tags or categories within those posts. So that could be a little specific and something which is more nuanced than any other thing here. Yeah, so once we have the feeds, we also need to take um, yeah, obviously the last step will be to run the server. Not okay, that is a developer step, so I'll not include that. So once that is done, I think that should be it. There are more steps here obviously, but okay, one more step was to load the static files. So static files include like the CSS, the styles, the images, uh, what else do we have, any other pages that are actually raw HTML. I think we will support that, so that could be added as well. And now let us okay, so let's talk about markdown a bit more deeply. Not markdown, but like how we use markdown to generate those templates, right? So let's say this is a markdown file, and what we include here is some sort of a font matter. It's called a font matter, but it is another name for metadata about the post that we are writing. So it could be, let's say, the type. It's a blog post, or it could be a till. If a till, today I learned short form of posts, or it could be um, you know just a diary post. It could be anything. Then we could have title, nice title, and description or subtitle, whatever you want to call it. The date when it was published, is it a draft? Then we have tags. If some site generators don't have that, but we will have it. If it belongs to a series, then what is the name of that? Then I think that's it, right? What else do we have here? Yeah, obviously we have if like if you want to customize the slug, that is the URL, right? So here this part, so if this is your primary, the base URL, like then what should be the path to that blog? So this will be the slug. This is usually generated from SSGs, but this is generated from the title itself. But if it's not provided, but if it's provided, then we'll override that. So that is that, and we'll have thumbnail, which is not there for them. So yeah, this is what we have here in the front matter. So this is so based on this, we generate the markup for that post, and that's how. So after this, there will be the actual content, right? So here we can have headings. So let's say it is our introduction, and then some actual content, and so on. So this is how we interpret. That's how the SSGs interpret each markdown file. Yeah, so this is a very specific thing to the SSGs. Like these are very specific because each SSG has those own style of defining these font matters, and it also has some specific formats. So here it is a YAML format, but it also could be JSON. It also has TOML files, So there are a few uh, other formats as well. What I wanted to experiment here is actual markdown itself. So I think it's a bit nonsense thing, but hear me out. So what we can have is, instead of this being like a statistic generator specific thing, we can have a markdown formatted metadata. I don't know if that sounds a little nonsense, but yeah, that is what I think, and I think we will support that format as well. I don't know if that exists. I need to search for it. Let's see if we can find it. So static site generators with markdown front matter. I don't know if that would support that. Let's actually search over here itself. So I don't think so we can uh, what is markdown here? Okay, Astro was another famous thing. Let's look at it, how it is doing it, right? So get started guide, let's follow this a little. Astro's template syntax, JSX like pages. Yeah. Sorry for the delay, sorry for that. So let's, I was looking for like if it supports pages files, right? The pages I think are responsible for handling routing, data loading, and no, this is not what I wanted. I wanted a markdown content, right? Like this should be markdown in Astro. Okay, yeah. So this is what I'm talking about. Like this is a YAML style of front matter, and this is a bit complicated, right? Like you can see it here, like they are actually using JS like syntax in front matter, which is a really complicated thing. Front matter programmability. Okay, that is really interesting. So you can like actually programmatically modify front matters, but where do you load it from? Connect a CMS. Okay, after I saw this name, I just saw a name that was headless. What do you mean by headless? I heard this name as well. but I actually didn't get the things that, oh, okay. So this is interesting. This is, I think, Dena is a free and open source LLM providing a best developer experience. Admin UI, yeah, like sort of admin UI, yeah. This is what I'm trying to build, like a admin sort of UI for editing the post. People who don't want to self-host their CMS, no. Git sync, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Like other headless CMS, Tina provides GraphQL API. Visual editing support signs for React. Content creators get a live preview when editing content. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, this is already created. Yeah, but this will be different from my perspective, right? Uh, I'm not sure what they are doing here. Um, I want to go to the tutorials. This is not the right place to go there. Let's go at least in the documentation and see what they are actually doing. Tina uses Git provide to open a single source of truth for content and code. Yeah, this is the actual idea. Not a single source. Like I will. Okay, I didn't mention here that this will be this sync happening here, right? From pages from the admin sort of page to database. It will be cross sync, like two-way syncing, because if I add a post from my local system, I will add it to the Git files, and this will actually save it to the database. But if I am editing it from the admin, it will add it to the database directly. But this will be picked up from the cron job after we save it from after a while. So there are two sources of truth here, right? That is what I want to have it dynamic ability to update the post. So core concept, data fetching. I want to know where do they store this uh, kind of post. Local file system based content API. The project affairs for providing a Git based content. Okay, what I'm thinking is, so after looking at here, they are actually like trying to get the post directly on the Git base, right? So they have sort of removed this complexity here. I'm not sure if I want to do that, but I'm also not sure what they are actually doing it. But that's what it looks like to me right now. And so let's look at uh, getting started. Using a starter. So they create an app. No, I'm not interested in the editor itself, but I'm interested in uh, what is it, Tina Cloud, display data for data CMS. So it is like a CMS only, right? We are managing the content. Okay. Yeah, so what I'm trying to build over with this database is like a content management system, right? Like if you separate out this part, if you kind of not separate out, but like, okay, why is that? how do you make it visible? Yeah, so this, if you kind of isolate this part, this will be a CMS, right? I mean there are intertwined parts here, but this is like a CMS within SSG. Not sure how that would be called. So in Dina Cloud there's a git pack media feature. Okay. Okay, so this is what is you're thinking about. It is a self-hosted system. A database essentially when the data layer. Okay, let's look at self-hosted route. Tina, Tina, Tina data layer. Okay, so data layer is like a form of content repository markdown. Yeah. Okay, I think I'm wasting time here. This is a really good project, but I want just to explore this and create it for myself, not for anyone. Actually, like, yeah, definitely I want to create it for someone to use it, but for the part, for the most of the part, I want to use it myself and be able to create content on the fly. That's what my idea is with this project. I don't want to be locked in with my own stuff. So that's the idea here. And so that is it, I guess, for today. So let's see how many. I think we did roughly an hour here. Yeah, I think that should be it for today. Next time I think we will actually start doing a few of this, not a few, like this. We'll just to focus on this part, and let's see how we want to do this, and then move on to the eventual parts. So that's it for today, and we'll see maybe tomorrow. Thank you. Bye. Okay, how do you stop this now?